I'm Jerry Micko. I'm the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. You had mentioned one of the jobs that you have now is recruiting, and you've had, at least on paper, success verbally for the class of 2013. You kept some kids from 12. But I want to talk a little bit about the reception you're getting from parents and your coaches are getting from parents about what's going on here. And a lot of shoes haven't dropped yet. You've got the Louis Free report, you've got a trial coming up in June. I don't have to read you the litany, you know the litany. How are you being received? How is the university being looked at? And what questions are parents, relatives, guardians asking you? Because you've got to ultimately not just sell the football program, but the university. And that's been a tough sell since November 5th for a lot of people. So what's the reaction been from those folks? And generally, I'm not looking for a specific or a name or anything, but
sure.
The reaction overall.
Sure. The reaction to this point has been very, very positive. And there's a few reasons for that. Again, going back to what I was talking about with our recruiting philosophy, when you get them to come to campus, you have a prospect and his family come on campus and meet our staff and meet our athletic director and meet different faculty members and eat at our training table and tour our football facility and tour our campus, you can tell that there's definitely a sense of moving forward, and that's what we're doing. The other thing that I think is really, really important for us to understand too is that we're very upfront. We talk to them about our philosophy for the program, our vision for the program, which again is an honest program, a program of respect, a program of openness, and that's what it's going to be as long as I'm the head football coach here. So those things, as far as somewhat of a preemptive strike, and so we try to answer questions before they're asked in many ways. And to this point, we don't get asked a lot of questions, or at least personally, I can only speak for myself. The assistant coaches haven't told me that they've been asked any questions, but you'd have to ask them if you get a chance to talk to them. But for me, it's been very positive, and I think for our staff and for us, it's about talking about the football program, the university, the athletic department, the student body, 160 different majors to choose from, great football facility, 108,000 seat stadium, our vision for the program, and that's what we keep talking to prospects about. And you made a great point at the beginning of your question, because you said that to this point it looks like it's pretty good, but no one knows how recruiting is going to go until they finally sign on the dotted line. So we just continue to recruit and talk to these guys about what we think is a special place with a great football program, and that's what we do, and that's how we move forward.
Hi, Coach. Josh Barnett from the Philadelphia Daily News. I guess one of the areas in media that's changed significantly during your time in the NFL was the coverage now of recruiting. You have websites where you put in a prospect's name and you get a list of all the offers and when he visited and quotes with immediate reaction before he's even gotten home from a campus visit about what he thinks and who he met. And I don't know how many times I've seen the quote, I had a great conversation with Coach O'Brien, so I guess that's a good start. But I know I've seen that a lot on Rivals and Scout and everywhere else. Can you talk a little bit about that coverage and the volume of it, I guess, from your perspective?
It's one of the biggest adjustments that I've had to make here is the volume of the internet. There's got to be 5 different websites that cover Penn State football. I mean, from Penn State 24/7 to Black Shoe Diaries to, there's a million of them. I can't even list them all. And at the same time, I understand that can be good. There are a lot of positive things about that. But also, I just tell our staff that we can't judge anything by what's written on the internet. When we view a prospect or we get to know a prospect, it's what our eyes tell us about his football ability. It's what our brain tells us about his transcript. It's what our heart tells us about his character. Whether he has 4 stars, 5 stars, 1 star, a half a star, 8 stars, 20 stars, I could care less. I really could care less. And if you really, if you look at me and you say, how do you say that? Stars and all this stuff. Well, just look at the New England Patriots, and that's a place where what we did there is we just looked at the value of the player, which is a little bit different going to college now, but and how that player fit into our program at the Patriots. So I could list millions of players over the years at New England that probably had no stars coming out of high school. I mean, how many stars do you think Danny Woodhead had? He went to Chadron State, Nebraska. How many stars do you think Wes Welker had? He went to Texas Tech. So I tell our staff that the internet is important. You know, it is important to keep up to date with maybe what's going on at other places as far as commitments, or maybe what people or prospects or parents are saying about us. But at the same time, again, the ultimate judgment is what we see in a prospect, what we see in his football ability, what we see in his academic transcript, and what we see in his character.
Thank you.
Coach, Ben Brigandi from Williams Sports
Hey, Ben.
Television. Many of us in this room came into leadership positions in places as outsiders, and one of the common things everybody always hears is, we can't do it this way because we've never done it that way before. You obviously replaced a decades-long institution. Have you encountered any of that mindset in any of your dealings?
I really haven't, and I'll say the reason why is what I try to do is I really am not a ready, fire, aim guy. So if I want to make a change and I want to talk to the powers that be about the change, then I write it up and I submit whatever the change may be, whether it's in the beginning a weight room change, you know, a structural change, or the structure of the training room change. And then what I've found here is you have a lot of really, really bright people that are open and honest, and we have good dialogue. So whether that's Dave Joyner or, you know, Jeff Nelson or Charmel Green, we talk about what changes we're making and what the change means, and then we go forward with the change if it's approved. So I haven't no one's said anything to my face that, well, we did it this way for this many years, we can't change it. You know, that hasn't been said to me. And along the same lines, I've made this clear since I took the job. I'm very, very respectful and mindful of what went on before here with Coach Paterno and his legacy. 409 wins, but he meant so much more than that to this university with graduation rates and you know, what he meant to all his players and the university as a whole. So when I say change, it's my vision for the program. This is a new era of Penn State football. It has nothing to do with how we feel about the previous 50 years of Penn State football. We have a ton of respect for that, more than you can put words on. But we're moving forward with what is our vision for the program right now.
Coach, Jennifer Gish, I'm a columnist with the Times-Union in Albany, and I'm also a Penn State alum who wrote in the fall about being heartbroken about what happened here and having your faith shaken in an institution, and heard a lot from a lot of alumni who felt the same way. You're probably getting a sense of that as you're understanding the Penn State culture. Mm-hmm. Do you feel a sense of responsibility to sort of make peace with those of us who are still struggling about how we feel about our alma mater?
No question.
And what can you do to
Right.
help that?
I think that's a great question. I think about that a lot, and what I do is, excuse me, I think about our team first of all, because ultimately I'm responsible for the football team. And what I talk to these guys a lot about, and I would say this to alums too, if I had the chance to, when I do have the chance to talk to them, is that our football players, our student athletes should have a tremendous amount of pride in being football players at Penn State. They should have a tremendous amount of pride that they are able to balance playing football at Penn State for a staff like ours, which is a very demanding staff, and going to school at Penn State is such a special place. That's all we talk about. We don't talk about the past. We weren't here. We weren't here when that happened. At the same time, we're very mindful of things like child abuse and making sure that we understand that we have to reach out to victims of child abuse, charity organizations, and things like that, and we will do that going forward. We haven't done a lot of that to this point because it's been spring practice and some things have been going on, but we will get to that, and we're very mindful of that. But at the same time, what we talk to our team about, and what I would talk to alums about, is from the so-called outsider, which I've been referred to as a million times, which that's fine, I would say I'm an insider now, and I'm very proud to be here, and I can tell you the reason why is because it stands for everything, this university stands for everything that I'm about, which is the balance between academics and football. And you can win many, many games here, you can win championships here, and you can graduate kids here, and the players that play here should be very, very proud of the fact that they're Penn State football players. So that's where I would start.
As a follow-up to that, Coach, how much hand-wringing did you have about taking this job?
You know, I've been questioned, that question's been posed to me quite a bit, and you know, I can tell you that when I was approached about the job, many people told me not to take the job, and then other people told me to take the job. And I'll give you one example again, and I've used this example a lot, and you'd probably be mad at me for using this, but when I was approached, I had to talk to my boss, Bill Belichick, and I'll never forget his reaction to this university and this football job, and it was that this is what he considered one of the jewels of college football, if not the jewel of college football, and that I would be crazy not to at least look at this job. So that meant a lot to me. My wife's opinion meant a lot to me, and she's a magna cum laude graduate from Boston College and understands sports and academics, and this was a place that we felt like we could really you know, have an impact. And so for me, there was no hand-wringing. It was about meeting great people. And once I met Dave Joyner and Rodney Erickson and John Nichols and Charmel Green and Linda Caldwell and all the people that I met, Russ Rose on the search committee, I was very confident in the fact that I would love to be the head football coach here.
You can't escape the question. I married into a Penn State family, and my wife started going to games here when she sat in her mom's lap 40-some years ago. I won't throw her under
Does
the
she
bus.
boo? Does she boo?
But you have to, I mean, this question will come up every press conference. And I've noticed it since I've been coming 20-some years. There doesn't seem to be a lot of depth at quarterback, and there never has been. It would be one or two guys, then walk on, walk on, walk on. Are you comfortable with the depth you have now? And would you like to see 4 and 5 stars competing going forward? And then will you deal with the aftermath when one decides to transfer?
I don't look at stars now. I mean, I want to be clear on that. Especially, well, at all positions, but at quarterback, I spend a lot of time with, when a quarterback prospect comes to our campus, you know, I spend a lot of time with that young man because the quarterback is such a huge part of your football program. And so to me, it's not about stars. It's about, can he make good decisions? Can he throw the ball accurately? Is he a good student? Those types of things. As it relates to our team right now, I'm very comfortable with the quarterback position. There are 3 guys that are really competitive guys with Rob Bolden, Matt McGloin, and Paul Jones. Smart guys. I have no idea what they ran in the past or how they were coached, and I respect it, but I don't want to know anything about it because it's our system now. We've told them to kind of, you know, just clear their mind of what they were coached in the past and learn it the way we do it. And to this point, it's been pretty decent. Now, have there been great, like yesterday was not a great practice for the offense. It was a practice where the defense put in a bunch of pressure and we didn't handle it very well. So now we've got to go back today and watch the tape and learn from it. And the thing that I've been very impressed with these 3 guys is they come in for extra film. They want to be coached. They want to be good. And they all have tools. And I've really enjoyed working with them in these first few weeks, you know, that we've been able to work with them in spring practice. And I'm looking forward to the journey ahead.